Hello, everybody, and welcome to the membership program. Welcome to the live class at the membership program. It's always great to have you with me for the live classes. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Todd. That is Todd. And it's again, thank you for joining me for the live class today. Today, we're going to be having a little bit of a discussion. We're going to be talking about what? We're going to be talking about books. Books. So, yeah, I'm ready to go here. I'm ready to get into this discussion. I hope all of you are ready, enjoying your day, and looking forward to a good discussion about books. Let's get into this now. Let's start. All right. So we have books, books, and more books, books, and more books here. First question for you all. First question here is, do you like to read? Do you like to read? Do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy reading? And yeah, my answer to this question is definitely yes. Of course, it depends on the content. It depends on what it is to some extent, to a large extent. But in general, yes, I like to read. I read a lot, and I think reading is very valuable. I know a lot of people don't like to read; they prefer to listen, and listening is also good. But I do like to read many different types of literature and different things. So yeah, yeah, that's the first question I want you all to think about. Do you like to read, or do you enjoy reading? Moving on here, do you have a favorite book? Do you have a favorite book? Here we see C.S. Lewis with the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, C.S. Lewis, a great writer. He's also a great scholar. C.S. Lewis. Yeah, do I have a favorite book? Yeah, I have to throw it out there. My favorite book is the Bible. I think the Bible is an amazing book, and just to contemplate the history of the Bible, or some of the history of the Bible, and how it has influenced culture and cultures for uh, well, millennia now, and all the books that have been written commenting and commentating on the Bible, and all the different languages that in which it has been translated. C.S. Lewis actually was a very famous Christian apologist, and this Chronicles of Narnia that you see here, he was greatly influenced by his friend uh, Tolstoy, and who was the author of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and that also was a series that was oriented toward that was a exposition or an explanation, or maybe an apology. You could call it an apology, a defense of the Christian faith. And so C.S. Lewis was just one of the moderns who was influenced by the literature within the Bible. So that's I have to throw that out there as my favorite book. But what about you? Do you have a favorite book? All right. Now, what's your favorite reading spot? spot here means place. What is your favorite place to read? What's your favorite reading spot? This young lady here reading the book, it reminds me, it looks like she's sitting in a bird cage there. That's what I think of when I look at this picture here. But she looks very comfortable and content there in that chair, or in that swinging chair that reminds me of a bird cage. Yeah, my favorite reading spot, I would say my bed. Actually, I read a lot in bed, but I also like to read in my favorite chair, which is basically like a couch, actually. So, yeah, reading spot, reading place. Do you ever reread books? Do you ever read books a second time or a third time? Yeah. Me in the past, I used to do this a lot. And actually, I started doing this because I had a professor years ago, and he always he told his students, "Hey, if you're about 20% through a book and it's not really interesting to you, it's probably best just to stop reading that book, because it's probably not going to get any more interesting if you've already read 25% of the book, and you could read something else." But on the other hand, he said, now, if you have read 25% of the book, then you should make a commitment to read that book not only one time, but to read that book at least two times. And so I thought about that, and that was I think that's good advice. I think that's good advice. And so for a while, uh, for a period of time, every book that I read it twice. And it was very valuable, because the second time you read a book, or a third time you read a book, it's not like the first time you read a book. There's you learn new things, and of course you approach it differently because you know the end. And now, so you get new insights, and you learn some new things and some different things. So yeah, but I don't do that anymore. There have been a couple of books within the last couple of years that I have reread, or the last, not couple of years, I should say, maybe last 4 or 5 years, a couple of books that I have read more than one time, but I haven't made that a habit. And but I do have on my to-do list, on my things to do, there are a number of books that I would like to read again. And I've thought about, I have to read that book again. I want to read that book again. So that's my story about rereading books. What about you? Do you ever reread books? Do you read them more than once? Let's see. Number 5 here. What's the last good book that you read? What's the last good book that you read? Okay. Well, I read a lot of theology, and so I just finished a good systematic theology book. It was a big book. Took me a while to read it, but I finished reading that maybe a few weeks ago. So, yeah, that's the last good book that I read. Uh, what about you? What's the last good book that you read? The last good book that you read? Now, if you dislike a book, do you still finish reading it? Okay, this has to do with something I was just talking about. If you dislike a book, or if you don't like a book, do you still finish reading it? Do you continue reading it? Now, in the past, if I started a book, I finished it. Didn't matter if I liked it or not. It was just this idea, okay, I've started it, I'm going to finish it. And that's all. But again, talking about my professor, he years ago, he said, hey, if you're 25%, 25% through the book and you just don't like it, it's not interesting to you, put it down. Don't and read something else because you're wasting your time, or it's probably going to be a waste of time. It's probably not going to get more exciting. It may, but it's probably not. So stop reading it and read something else. And that's good advice. I think that's good advice, particularly if it's a big book, if it's a long book. So if I start reading a book now and I don't like it after, 20% or maybe even less than that, I put it down and I start reading something else because that just makes sense to me. Just persevering through a book just for the sake of persevering through the book. Ah, no, there's not a lot of good reason to do that. I can't justify that now. But what about you? If you dislike a book, do you still finish it? And if you do, ask yourself this: why? Why? Okay. All right. Number 7, do you prefer ebooks or paper books? Ebooks or paper books? Yeah, this is interesting too. I have a little story for you all about this also. Actually, now, currently, I prefer ebooks. I know that's probably shocking to a lot of people because a lot of people I know, they really don't like ebooks. They much prefer paper books. They say, I like the texture of the paper. I like to look at the paper. I like the way it feels in my hand, and I like to open a book. But I really prefer ebooks now, digital books. Why? Well, a few different reasons. One is I can adjust the font and the size of the print. Okay, so I can change the size of the print. I can change the lighting. I can modify what the page looks like. That's one reason. But another reason is I can read on a Kindle or on my computer, on my laptop or my tablet, and I don't have to hold it. I don't have to hold it. And if I do hold it, I can hold it with one hand. So it's much more comfortable for me to read an ebook. Also, another benefit, in my opinion, of ebooks or digital books is that with one on a laptop or a tablet, or if you have a Kobo or a Kindle or a Barnes and Noble Nook or something like that, you can have a library that can fit right in your pocket. You can put that right in your pocket and you have an entire library there. And that's very convenient, of course. Now, in the past, when the when the Amazon Kindle first came out, I remember my mother asked me, Todd, would you like one of these Amazon Kindles? And this is when they first came out. And I told her, no, Mom, no, really, thank you, but no, because one, there weren't so many digital books available. This was a new thing, right? So the digital books that were out there were very limited. The device itself was expensive, and I just didn't see any value in it. I really didn't think that they would catch on. I didn't think that uh, Kindles and other competitors would catch on. I had no idea. So I really did not desire one at all at the time. But now it's much different. You have thousands and thousands and thousands of digital books available. And like I said, I just see a lot of benefit. And the prices are uh, inexpensive now. And actually, you have a free application, the Kindle application. It's you can download it for free, and ebooks, generally speaking, are less expensive than the printed versions of the books. So I see a lot of benefits in ebooks. But okay, there's my story. Have to move on. There's my story. Number 8. Do you prefer books or movies? Do you prefer books or movies? In general, books. You know, I prefer books. And actually, I don't watch movies. I'm very, very stupid is the word about movies. I used to watch movies. I used to watch movies with friends, and but over the last, I don't know, 20 years or more, I really haven't watched many movies at all. And so yeah, I have watched some. I do like the Marvel comic movies, and I like the boxing movies and some of the other sports movies, and I like some of the musical movies, some of the old ones, especially Grease and Saturday Night Fever and The Jazz Singer. I like those kind of movies, and I have watched some of those. And occasionally I do watch during the Christmas season. I'll watch a Christmas movie or something like that. So I enjoy those, but I don't watch many movies now. So my preference really is books. My preference is books in general there. What about you? If you guys out there, you're learning English, of course, studying English, movies are great for you. Okay, watch movies. I highly recommend it. It's a great way to develop your listening comprehension skills and just observe people having conversations in different kind of contexts. So I highly recommend students of English watch movies, watch them, watch them, watch them. And of course, read books too. Read books. All right. Now, as a child, did you have a favorite book as a child? Did you have a favorite book as a child? Yeah. As a child, I used to really enjoy reading detective stories, and there are some really good detective stories. There was a series of books that was very popular when I was a child. They were written for basically for students or children between maybe the age of 10 and 14, and it was called the Hardy Boys, the Hardy Boys series. And I don't know, they were written by Franklin W. Dixon. That was not his real name. It was a pseudonym, not his real name, but it was Franklin W. Dixon. And there were, I think, around 50 books in this series. But it was about two young detectives. They were the sons of an FBI agent, and one of the characters was let's see if I can remember this. One of the characters was Joe, and the other character, I can't remember the other character's name, but there were two sons, and they were detectives. They helped their father solve mysteries, and really they were very educational because you learned some things about about how detectives work and things like that. There was another very popular detective series of books that was written. It was Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. There were three investigators. The leader was Jupiter, then there was Pete, and I can't remember the third investigator. But very good detective series. And I also used to read a series of books that was about horses. It was the Black Stallion series, and one of those books was made into a movie. It's just called The Black Stallion. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It doesn't follow the book exactly, but it's a beautiful movie. But these books were written by an author. His name's Walter Farley. Walter Farley. I recommend the books. You learn a lot about horses and about horse racing and everything related to horses. You can learn a lot from those books as well. So, yeah. So I had. So to answer this question, I had a lot of favorite books. I had a lot of favorite books as a child. Okay, moving on. Number 10. Do you think that reading is important? Do you think that reading is important? I think you know what I'm going to say here, right? Yes, I think reading is important. I think reading is important. And I know a lot of people say, no, it's not so important because I can just listen to everything now. And listening's important. Definitely, listening is important. I listen to audio books, and I listen to podcasts, and I listen to a lot of different things. Very important. But reading, yes, reading is important. So yeah, that's my answer to that question. I think everybody uh, should read and make it a priority to read different kinds of content. Reading the news and reading some history and different than reading sports and reading just a variety of topics. Okay. Some more. Do you enjoy reading fiction, meaning imaginary or creative, or nonfiction, like biographies and things like that, books? Do you enjoy reading fiction or nonfiction books? Well, in the past, I read a lot of fiction. Uh, but now almost everything I read is nonfiction, because history is fascinating to me, and things that the events of history, events that are taking place currently, and the projections of events that will take place in the near future. Uh, Fascinating, really, to me. So I I read much more nonfiction than I do fiction now. But do I see value in fiction? Yes, definitely. There's great value in fiction, creativity, imagination. This is all very important, I believe. So, yeah, my personal preference now is nonfiction, but great benefits to reading fiction as well. Number 2 here. How much time do you spend reading every week? How much time do you spend reading every week? Yeah, it depends on the week. It depends on how much leisure time I have in that week, but I spend a fair amount of time reading every week. It really is one of my favorite things to do. But I would say I spend probably 10, 12 hours a week reading, a couple hours a day at least. But I also listen. I listen to audio books and different things. So again, it depends on the week, but I would say on average, maybe 12 hours a week. I read 12 hours a week. But then if you include reading emails and reading news and reading reports that other people may send and say, hey, can you look at this or whatever, then if you include that, it may be 15 hours a week. And so, yeah, it depends. It depends on the week. Okay. Number three, do you ever go to a library to borrow books? To borrow books. Now, uh, I want to point out something about, well, I'm going to point out a couple of things here about this question. One, a library is not a bookstore. Okay, a bookstore is a place where people go to purchase books, buy books. Okay, that's a bookstore. A library is a place where people go to borrow books or to check out books. Now, the other thing I want to mention is about this word borrow. To borrow means that you take something a for a certain period of time with the intention of giving it back. Okay. You receive something for a temporary amount of time and your intention is to give it back. So think about this. People borrow money from banks. People borrow money from banks. Okay, they don't keep that money, and that is not free. They actually pay back interest on that. But banks lend money to people. Okay, or we could also say banks loan money to people. People borrow money, banks loan money. People borrow books from libraries. Libraries loan or lend books to people. Now, I point that out and I stress that because I know in some languages the words borrow and lend are the same. We have a distinction in English between those two words. Okay, so to answer the question, do you ever go to a library to borrow books? Now, currently, no. I hardly ever go to a library now. In the past, I used to go to the library almost every day or every other day. I was in a library and borrowing books and borrowing CDs and DVDs. But now I haven't been to a library for a very long time. Now I usually purchase books. I buy books or I read samples from books and maybe purchase that book. Later, most of the books I purchase now are ebooks, digital books. But yeah, now I very rarely go to a library now. But in the past, I used to go all the time, all the time. Okay, number four. Do you ever buy books online? Do you ever buy books online? Yeah, I just answered that question, right? Yes, I do. I probably purchase too many books online, uh, but yeah, I purchase mostly now digital books. Occasionally, I will purchase a printed book, but usually I purchase the Kindle version. So yeah. Number five, do you enjoy reading the newspaper or magazines? Do you enjoy reading the newspaper or magazines? I don't read newspapers. I read the news on the internet, basically. But I do enjoy some magazines. I subscribe to one magazine. It's a theology magazine, but I enjoy magazines. I used to subscribe to guitar magazines. I subscribe to 7 or 8 different guitar magazines and boxing magazines. And yeah, I enjoy magazines. I like that glossy feel of the pages and they're thin. And yeah, I like magazines. I I enjoy reading magazines. Number six, how often do you go to a local bookstore and do you go there to read or just to buy books? I haven't been to a local bookstore for a long time. Again, this was something that I used to do frequently. Um, but I haven't been to a local bookstore for a long time. Years, actually. And when I did go there, I used to just go to purchase books, but I would browse. I would look around and purchase books, but occasionally I would sit down for a while and read because the bookstore that I went to pretty frequently were able to sit down, could listen to music, read, relax, and even order a cup of coffee there or a cup of tea. But yeah, I haven't been to a bookstore for years now. Actually, I purchase everything online now. So everybody, want to thank you all for attending this membership program live class. I want to thank you all for being members of our membership program. Now, I want to remind everybody of my name, which is Todd, and I also want to remind you that I'll be looking forward to seeing you all again next time. And in the meantime, I am wishing you all a wonderful remainder of your day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.